What types of strategies have worked well for Agile transformation? I mean, any that you can think of has a chance to work. That's the honest answer. Somewhere. But any you can think of is probably not going to work for you. And that really is the problem with what we have. There is only one fallback in this place that we know of that works consistently. Okay. And that is the strategy of inspect and adapt, of empiricism, of trying things out and learning and doing better next time. So many people will say, what's the strategy? We're going to install safe, we're going to install less, we're going to do Scrum, we're going to, I don't know, whatever they come up with, or the consultants come up with. We're going to create this phased approach and we're going to use these waves and we're going to talk about motorboats and speedboats versus oil tankers and all this stuff, and that's great, you know, and it might be very useful comms. But when you boil it down, if at the heart of it, it doesn't say, we're going to try something, we're going to see if it works, and if it did work, we're going to keep doing it. And we're going to add something else, and if it didn't work, we're going to stop doing it. And we're going to do something different. We're going to employ the scientific method to our approach of hypothesis experiment. If they're not doing that, they're not going to succeed. They're going to do lots of work. They're going to do lots of stuff. And at the other end, it's probably not going to work. In fact, I'd be surprised if it did. If you go out and you think that installing Scrum, installing Safe, installing Less, installing Disciplined Agile, installing whatever the latest and greatest framework is today is going to solve all your problems, then I've got a bridge in London that I can sell you. That's not what we do. Okay. Each problem is different. Yes, there are patterns that we can draw across organisations. Yes, there is ways. But the reality is when you start applying those patterns, you will notice nuances that need to be adapted for, that need to be adjusted for. So for me, the only strategy that's ever has or will work in truth is trying something and learning from it. Completing that feedback cycle as quickly as possible and growing the system as you can. The way that I approach an agile transformation in most organisations is starting very small. A single team. Can we get this way of working with this product development team, just this one? I'm not interested in any others, just this one. Can I create enough space in your organisation, and can I find a way through your policies, your processes, your tools, your culture to get one team to work okay in an agile fashion? And once we're there, can I take the learning from that team and use it to help another team, not replicate it? This is not splitting cells. We're going to take the learning, we're going to apply it to this team, and we're going to adapt it and evolve it as they try to solve a different problem. And because there are different people in a different part of the organisation, even if it is the next set of tables over, it is a different part, subtly. We're going to try some more things. We're going to try things. Now I've got two teams that are running experiments to work out how they can be better. And they're sharing, and that's good. And then we're going to make two more teams, and now we've got 4 teams. And at this point, I find that we have enough commonality to know what works here. Very simple framework that works here. This is how we engage with these types of stakeholders. This is how we flow work to these teams. Okay? It may look like Scrum, it may not. It may look like one of the myriad of tool sets that I have kicking around in my head, because we don't know. Okay? But what has been created is unique to that organisation. Okay? The way that we do it is starting small, test and learn, use empiricism, inspect and adapt to create it and scale it. And then when we're at 4, we can maybe go to 8 and see if it's still working. Now we're at 8, that's quite big. Okay, can we go bigger? Can we go to 16, to 30, to whatever we've got? And do these things stay true? Do we have sufficient support for all of these people and all of those people impacted by these changes? And this is often where people fall over, is they see it as we've got that team working, okay, and I've had it where we had 4 teams working, like scale it across the organisation, 50 odd teams. Yeah, we can. All the teams can work that way. But none of the stakeholders understand what we're doing. None of them can work that way yet. And that's not a lack of competence and capability, that's a lack of knowledge. And that's one of the things we have to keep an eye on. As we scale, we have to bring everybody around that team on this journey with us. Do they understand not only what we're doing, but why we're doing it, and how they can help us achieve this? And we need to understand how we can help them to achieve the jobs they're trying to get done. So when you're scaling, you have to consider an awful lot of things when you're approaching these adoptions. If you believe that you can just buy something off a shelf, apply it to your organisation, and it will just work, okay, you're doing a huge disservice to the people who work for you. Okay? They are individuals. They all work and think differently. Okay? And what worked in one organisation is very, very unlikely to work in yours, not as a copy and paste. Okay? It might be a good starting place, but what you have to do as part of that is accept the learning time it's going to take. So if you choose to transform your whole organisation in one go, you are also choosing to put everybody into that learning state together while trying to get work done and keep food on their table and do all the other things that go on in life. It's going to slow down. It's going to be difficult. Okay? And nobody knows how it's going to end up. So for me, start small, see it working, grow it step by step. It takes longer, but it works. If you've got to this point in the video, I hope you've enjoyed it. If so, a like would be appreciated. If you want to hear more from me, more answers to questions that maybe you've got in the Agile world, please subscribe to the channel. And if you've got a question that you really want answered, drop it in the comments. I promise we'll get around to it. Thank you.